Imagine this. You've just closed on your dream home's 6 bedrooms. A tree-lined street, the perfect place to raise your kids. The air smells of fresh paint and cut grass. Boxes are stacked high, and you can almost hear the laughter that will soon fill the halls. But then, an envelope appears in the mailbox. No return address. The handwriting jagged and deliberate. You open it, expecting a welcome note. Instead, you read chilling words, "I am the watcher. I have been watching 657 Boulevard for decades. Do you know what lies within its walls? What should have been the beginning of a new life becomes the start of a nightmare. Because from that moment on, the Broaddus family would never feel safe again. And it all began the very first week they prepared to move into 657 Boulevard, Westfield, New Jersey. A quiet, affluent suburb just 45 minutes outside New York City. It's the kind of place where neighbors wave from their lawns, kids ride bikes down shaded streets, and life feels safe. In 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus thought they'd found their forever home. 657 Boulevard, a towering 6-bedroom Dutch Colonial with a wide porch, elegant windows, and the kind of charm you only see in storybooks. Derek had just earned a promotion, and buying this house was their reward proof they had made it. But before a single box was unpacked, before they could call this place home, something sinister made its way to their doorstep. The first letter. Personal, creepy, written by someone who claimed to be watching. At first, the Broadduses thought it might be a cruel prank, but the letters kept coming and they grew darker with every word. The first letter was unnerving, but the second was terrifying. Each new envelope arrived in the same strange handwriting, with no fingerprints, no clear source. The author didn't just know the family had moved in, they knew details no stranger should ever know. The watcher began addressing Derek and Maria by name. Worse, he mentioned their children. He described seeing them play on the porch, asking chilling questions like, have they found what's in the walls yet? And will the house be filled with the young blood I've asked for? The Broaddus family's joy turned into paranoia. Curtains stayed shut. They avoided the porch. Every creak of the old wooden floors now felt like someone or something was inside. But when they called the police, there were no clear leads. The watcher seemed invisible, yet always close. And soon, the investigation would begin pointing fingers at neighbors, friends, and even the house itself. With each letter, the tension in Westfield grew heavier. Who was the watcher? A neighbor? A prankster? Or someone with a darker obsession? Investigators began canvassing the block. They looked at previous owners, at neighbors who might have grudges, even at the mail carrier who handled the envelopes. Some letters hinted at generational ties to the house, as if the watcher had been connected to 657 Boulevard for decades. The family's neighbors quickly became suspects in the court of public opinion. One elderly man was seen watching the house too closely. Another neighbor was overheard making odd comments, but every lead went cold. No fingerprints, no camera footage, nothing to tie anyone to the chilling notes. The Broadduses were left surrounded by smiling neighbors during the day and potential stalkers at night. And as the investigation stalled, the family faced a devastating realization. Maybe they could never live in their dream home at all. Months passed, but the letters never stopped. Each one chipped away at the Broaddus family's dream until fear became their reality. They had poured everything into 657 Boulevard, their savings, their hopes for the future, yet they couldn't bring themselves to move in. The house sat in limbo, curtains drawn, lights off, a beautiful home turned into a hollow shell, haunted not by ghosts, but by words. Desperate, the family tried to sell. But rumours of the Watcher had spread through town and buyers pulled away. Years later, they finally sold at a loss, forced to walk away from the house that had promised so much but gave them only sleepless nights and terror. The Broadduses moved on, but the Watcher was never unmasked. And yet, the legend of 657 Boulevard would only grow, spreading beyond Westfield and into the wider world. Today, 657 Boulevard still stands in Westfield. To outsiders, it looks like any other charming suburban home, but to those who know its story, it's something else entirely, a monument to an unsolved mystery. The Watcher was never caught. No arrests, no unmasking, just silence. And that silence makes the story even more chilling. Was it a bitter neighbour, a disturbed stranger, or someone still living close by, quietly watching, even now? The case inspired headlines, podcasts, and even a Netflix series. But the truth remains hidden in those letters, sealed forever with questions that may never be answered. Because sometimes the scariest monsters aren't hiding under the bed. They're the ones watching from across the street. So, what do you think? Was the Watcher real or just a cruel hoax? Share your theories in the comments below.